All right, we're on Hardin's Run Road, New Cumberland, West Virginia. This is my dad, Harry. I'm Brian. My son, Isaac, is recording back there. And we're going to get some footage and a little documentation of this 70 Plymouth GTX. And we're at the homestead where the car's lived all of its life, pretty much. I'm going to step out of the frame and just ask a few questions, and then we'll go from there. All right, tell us about when you ordered the car and when you took delivery of it.
Okay, I ordered a car October of '69, and I took delivery of it January 1st, 1970.
So it came in late December, and then you...
Right. And it sat down at the garage for a week or so.
Okay, and then you picked it up on January 1st.
Yes, sir.
That's kind of a weird day. How did that happen?
Well, Dad and Uncle Jim both knew the salesman really good, and he talked him into coming in January 1st.
All right, so why did you get this, the 1970?
Well, I was going to order a '69 whenever I came back from Vietnam, but then Dad talked me in September. The new cars came out back then, and I liked the appearance of the newer GTXs rather than the '69s. So I just held off and waited for that.
Why didn't you want a Ford or a Chevy of some sort?
Well, I always liked Chrysler stuff, and Chrysler was always winning at all the big car races and stuff, and that's what I wanted.
Okay. So you got the blue, black vinyl, white interior. So why'd you pick that out?
Well, I like blue for one thing. The white interior wouldn't be so hot in Georgia when I was down there, and all the guys that had black interiors, the seats and the roof liners and everything cracked from the heat. So I picked white.
So what did you clean and wax the car with, the vinyl top and the paint and everything, to keep it like it is right now?
I waxed the car with a product called Astro Shield. It was like a wax cleaner, and that's all it's been used on until they quit making it. The top was always waxed with vinyl top turtle wax, and they kind of quit making that too. But that's what was on all the time I was in the service.
All right, how'd you pick out the engine you wanted?
Well, I liked speed, and I was a gearhead, and I either wanted the 440 with the 3 deuces, or I was wanting a Hemi with the 2 4s. And my dad talked me out of the Hemi with the 2 4s.
Why?
Because he thought I was crazy enough the way it was. He really didn't know what the 6-pack, I called it a 6-pack back then, and he really didn't know what that was until after he ordered it.
Okay, so tell us about the rear end and why you got the gear ratio that's in there.
Well, the rear end is a 8 3/4 positive traction, and the gear ratio is 323 gear ratio, because that's when I was stationed in Georgia and I made a lot of trips back and forth. And I was going to get a higher ratio, but my dad talked me into getting that ratio because it was cheaper on gas, but it would also go faster.
What's the where did you order it? What's the name of the garage? Where's it at?
It was called Cusick Motors. It was in Weirton, West Virginia. It's about 7 or 8 miles from my house.
Why'd you get it there for?
Well, my Uncle Jim, he always bought cars there, and my sister bought a couple cars there, and we knew the salesman, and the garage was just handy, and that's why I went there.
All right, so you came home to pick it up, and then what happened from there?
Well, then the next day, on the 2nd, we had to go back down to the garage and finish signing the papers and stuff. Then I had to go to, it had State Farm Insurance on it, so I had to stop at Jack Robinson, had the State Farm Insurance Agency, and put my car insurance, put my insurance on that.
And then you took it to Georgia?
Yeah, yeah, I was home for 1 week, then I drove it to Georgia.
Okay. And then how many miles did you put on the first year?
Well, I came home from service about once a month, so I put about 22,000 miles on it the first year I had it.
Okay. Did you drive it a lot like the second year or third year that you had it, or?
Well, in nice weather I did. I had old junker cars, I always call them, to run around in if the weather got bad. But it stayed in the garage a good bit. And if it got nice, I'd drive it, and then I'd take it to a lot of. We used to take it to a lot of car cruises and stuff back then because that was about the only thing to do.
So the car has about 66,000 almost miles on it right now. So you did drive it a little bit. So when did you kind of stop driving it as much?
Probably in I don't know, 78, 79. I started slowing down, and then there for a long time I didn't drive it at all. I just kept it in the garage. I'd start it up every once in a while, take it outside and clean it up, put it back in the garage.
Okay. So the outside of this, the paint, the roof, never been touched. Is that right? Or
That's right. All I did was just wax it and clean it.
okay. Tell us about the wheels.
Well, I bought just the regular rim wheels with the hubcaps because back when I was running around a lot, I like Keystone mags. So the Keystone mags was cheaper to buy than if I'd have got the Chrysler or road wheels or whatever. And I like the mags better anyhow. And everybody put Chrysler, or they put mags or Keystones, Kragers. Everybody, that was just the hot rod years I was running around.
So the tires that are on here, these are not original to the car, but they're
Right.
from the approximate year of the car.
Right. Yeah, had a hard time finding them.
What happened to the original tires?
They went up in smoke.
Okay. These are the right rims, hubcaps, everything that came on the car.
Just wish it came right there now.
Yep. All right, so the car has an automatic transmission. Why did you decide to go with that instead of 4-speed?
Well, it's got they call it a slapstick transmission shifter gear, so it was, I could go through the gears in an automatic if I wanted to, or I could just put it in drive and it go. So, and another point that I probably haven't never told anybody, the kickdown in the automatic transmission was never adjusted to work. Because if it did, I tried it one day, and the car would go sideways when the other three carburetors, when all the carburetors kicked in, and the car would go sideways. So I unadjusted it so it wouldn't work.
Why didn't you want the 4-speed?
I was tired of shifting gears. I had a couple old cars, and I shifted gears in them a lot, and it was just more easier on me.
So I hear you mention a lot of things about your dad, or my grandfather, helping you with the car, and I even noticed his name is on the bank paperwork and different things like that. So you talk about how your dad helped you get the car, and maybe just a little bit about that.
Well, Dad was doing body work for a living, and he worked for a Ford garage in Weirton. And I used to work down there before I went to the service, and we knew a lot about performance cars and stuff because a lot of Fords went through the garage. So Dad, we all had knowledge on what hot rod cars was supposed to be like. And sometimes if I was going to make a mistake, he would try to correct me. My dad would try to correct me or not make a mistake, which he did a pretty good job of because the car turned out really excellent.
Did he have to help co-sign your loan?
Yes, back then they did, especially if I was in the service. Yes.
Tell us a little bit about what your car was before this vehicle here. What'd you drive?
Well, Dad found this guy that had a 51 Studebaker convertible. And the price was pretty cheap on it because no one liked them because they had the bullet front end on them. So I bought that, and then I went to the junkyard and found a 300 horse 327 out of a car, an SS Chevy. I brought it home, tore it apart, put new rings and stuff in it, and then I put a full race crane cam in it. The car would not idle under 1,000 RPMs, it would quit. And I put a ram log with 2 4-barrels on it. And the car was pretty fast, but it was a standard, and I had to shift gears a lot. This is the main reason why I got the automatic in the other one. But the Studebaker that got made fun of a lot, but it would pretty much fly.
All right, we're going to go for a little walk around here, around the car, and just kind of take a look at some things here. So, headlights?
They're the original ones that came in the car.
Okay.
Yep.
And you said one burnout, and you had replaced one of them.
One, yes.
Okay.
But I got the right ones.
Right, that came out of a Roadrunner?
Came out of a Roadrunner.
Okay, so those are the right lights.
Just one bulb's all I replaced in a bowl of lights.
One bulb had burnout, okay.
Yep.
All right, so we're just gonna walk this way here a little bit. Take a look at some things here. But yeah, you can see there's some little
nicks from gravel hidden into where people's doors.
Yeah.
Where we parked it in the parking lot.
Down along the bottom a bit. Just some little things here and there.
Yep.
This is what I always call the picture side.
Yeah.
Because this is pretty good.
The stripes are reflective also.
Reflective stripes.
And so is the hood scoop teeth and stuff's all reflective.
So, and I kind of forgot, these are the original hood pins with the wires that hold the pin.
The land out, yes. Everything's still original on it.
Wiper blades.
Never been replaced.
Okay. We'll talk about some other stuff under the hood in a while here.
Okay.
But we'll get to there. We'll get to the insides later. Yeah. Little scratches here and there. Back.
I guess it's pretty lucky as crazy as I was growing up with this to survive with no scratches.
Now some of these, yeah, really. Some of these, like here, for example, they say that's where the factory put the tail lights in and so forth. Some of that stuff is supposed to be there, right?
Yeah. I can show you how they put the rubber seals around the trunk lid if you want.
Yeah, we'll get to the trunk here. We'll open up the trunk in a little bit.
Okay. This is pretty much
tailpipe tips and everything.
Yep.
All
They're all original.
Bumper, yeah. I mean, you can see there's some hitting starting on the bumper there a little bit. I don't know if you can zoom in on that at all right there.
You're in the shadow.
There's a little boo-boo right there. What happened right there?
Well, I stopped in Savannah, Georgia to get gas, and I was at an Ashland gas station, and an old guy in a big Cadillac with a big stogie accidentally bumped that.
He hit it with his car?
Yeah.
That's all it did right there?
Yeah.
Did you know he hit it? Did he say anything to you?
Well, I was standing there watching him.
Oh, you watched it?
Yeah.
While you're getting gas?
And the kid kind of looked at me and said, "He just hit your car." I said, "Yeah." So I went over and looked at it.
Anything happened to the Cadillac?
No. No.
No. So
that was like a Sherman tank.
So you let him off the hook there.
Yeah. Because like I said, my dad and myself did body work, and I knew if I tried messing with that, it would be more work than it would really be worth.
Yeah. Okay.
Plus it would stick out like a sore thumb.
Yeah. You can't really.
Can't.
I mean, now that I pointed it out, I noticed it. But
a lot of people. Hey, after being 54 years old, whatever it is.
Yeah, going on 55. All right, so that brings us to here. What's happening right here? Tell me about that.
Whenever you put the car together, this is the roof, and this is the lead joint between the roof and the cowl. And a lot of these cars came with this botched up lead joint. And a lot of guys would get that fixed, but I never did get it fixed. And it's the same as it was whenever I got the car. I just kept it waxed real good, and it stayed.
Okay.
It's the same deal with if I tried to fix that and paint it. They just
Yeah.
stick out like a sore thumb, or this way here. They just asked me about it.
All right.
But I knew most of the guys would get that fixed, and then
So that's factory original there.
yeah, it's factory installed.
Okay. What about the brakes? Brake shoes?
The shoes are all original.
Brake shoes are all original, front and back.
Yes.
Okay.
The exhaust muffler, well, I had to replace the muffler and tailpipes because they rust out because of the condensation gets them, eats them away.
Okay.
And then it's still got the original H pipe underneath it.
Okay. Tailpipes are original and everything.
The tips are original, yes.
Tips, yeah.
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
Other than that, it is what it is.
All right, so we're taking a look at the trunk. Have you ever done anything to the trunk?
Just clean it.
Clean it.
Yep.
Okay.
Everything's original under here.
Okay. The tire, that's the old stock replacement tire like
Yes.
it's on the cars.
Yeah. The other one's got dry rot and it's real bad.
Yeah.
These ones are starting to do the same thing.
I think we got those, or they came from Ford show, if I'm not mistaken, in the late '90s, I believe, or early 2000 maybe.
No, that was before that. I'm pretty sure.
Late '90s maybe. So they're old.
Yep.
As well. Original trunk mat, right?
Yep. Everything's original.
The jack.
He's never been out from underneath that tire.
Jack's never been out of the car.
Nope.
That's the original tire iron there and everything.
Yes, yes it is.
Okay. This is the jack instruction sticker. You can see it's kind of shrinking up there a little bit.
A little bit. Yeah, it shrank. Yeah,
So
it is.
that's the original sticker and everything.
This stuff.
What's this?
This is a sloppy job that the factory does when they put them rubber strips on.
What is that on there?
Glue.
It's the glue from this?
Glue from the strip. Yeah.
Okay.
And the strip also has date code numbers on too.
Okay.
Everything on the car has got a date code number somewhere. Sometimes 2 or 3.
What's this here?
Yeah, it was painted black like the back end of this was, and then after all the years of me cleaning it and rubbing and stuff, it's kind of starting to the blue's starting to fade through a little bit. But that's whenever they painted the tail piece at the factory.
Okay.
And most of the other black stuff's just all glue because they just did a swapping.
Alright. Okay. That's it for the trunk. Alright, so the insides here, the door and everything. White interior with the blue door top. What's that?
Well, whenever you buy a car without air conditioning, you run with the window down, and everyone always ran with their arm stuck out the window, and my arm wore that paint off of there.
Okay.
Because it won't be on the other side, because very seldom I had anybody on the other side.
Okay.
But that's how that got there.
Original carpet and dash, everything. I see the clock is working.
Yes, the clock's working. You got the right time on it.
The right time. Got the odometer in there. So the car never really had passengers too much. Every once in a while, passenger seat.
Very, very few.
Mom rode with you a little bit, right, in the passenger seat?
Yeah, that was about it. Very seldom I took anyone off the Army post with me anywhere.
Anybody ever ride in the back seat?
Well, we went to a Can-Am race in Atlanta, Georgia, at the track up there, and I took three Army guys with me to go to the races. That's about all that was back there. Those two guys in the back and one in the front.
That's about it for people in the back seat?
Yep.
That's when you lived in Georgia, you went from?
Hinesville, Georgia to Atlanta, Georgia.
Okay. This was your honeymoon car, right?
Yes.
And your mom take it? Okay.
Yep. Went on our first date in it. And then I went on a honeymoon back to Georgia. And then I brought all my sons home in it from the hospital when they was first born, and all my grandsons from the hospital.
Didn't the car break down on the date or something?
Oh, my first date, I always put points and plugs and condenser in it. It's got dual points in it. So I put a new set in it, and it wouldn't hardly run. It just backfired and popped, and I couldn't figure out what was wrong with it. So my dad asked me, he said, was it running okay before you did that? And I said, yes. He said, put the old stuff back in the distributor. So I did that, and we found out the condenser was bad. That's the only thing that was wrong with it. So I put another condenser in it, and it ran fine ever since. But yeah, my very first date, I was going to take my now wife out, and the car broke down.
That's Mom, in case you're wondering.
Yes. Yeah.
And then honeymoon, drove to, where'd you drive to?
Jekyll, Georgia.
So from here
Yes.
to Georgia?
Yep.
And back?
Yeah, because that Jekyll Island wasn't very far from the Army post I was stationed at. So we went down there. I knew a couple of sergeants that was still in the service. We stopped at their house and visited them. They were still on the Army post.
Okay. There's a couple oddities about the inside of the car, right? That somebody just pointed out, actually fairly recently, that whenever on the assembly line or something, for example, this here on the other side is a chrome one.
Yep, and that's black plastic.
And that's just, you didn't actually even know that until
I started.
A few years ago or something.
Yeah, just a few years ago.
Somebody pointed it out.
Yeah.
This is black and black, and the other side's chrome and black.
Yep. So that's the way it came.
Interesting. I never understood it on these. The red ones on the back.
Yeah, they're upside down.
The red ones on the front there. I don't know if that's something that was intentional that they did when they put them on, or
I don't know either.
If yours is like, if they're all like that, I don't know, but I never.
Almost everything I saw that's been redone, they're both the same on both sides.
Yeah. Yeah, yours is red towards the back here. That one over there is red towards the front. Interesting. So you got an 8-track player?
8-track stereo.
Yep.
AM, well, it's an AM radio too.
Okay. Got a speaker in the back?
Yes. I told Dad when they were ordered it, I wanted a speaker in the back. Well, they put one.
Okay.
Thinking since it was stereo, I'd get 2, but
okay. You got a speaker.
A speaker.
Got a speaker in the back.
Yep.
Console.
That was special order too.
Okay.
And then I got the light package with it, which has got the lights inside and stuff.
Okay.
That was extra also.
All right. Yeah, because there's a lot of chrome.
Yeah, this belt molding's very seldom. You'll very seldom see that, because when you shut the door, it just makes it look like the car's finished because it's got chrome back here on the back window. This came on it.
Yeah.
It started right here and went around, so it looked better that way. That's why I ordered that, because I like chrome. Yep. That's about it.
And you have the original 8-track that the car came with. It's in the glove box over there.
Yes.
Well, I'll get that out in a minute. The original paperwork, order sheet, bill of sale, everything's in the glove box over there. Yeah. Alright, that's it for the inside. Alright, so we're under the hood here. So 446 barrel. Original engine.
Yes, original engine.
It's not been rebuilt.
Nope. No,
Okay.
sir.
There's your fender tag here. So,
The only thing that's been replaced out here has been the heater hoses.
your hoses.
Yeah.
Plug wires, right?
Yes, plug wires.
And the windshield washer.
Windshield
jug.
washer jug, yeah.
You have the original one.
Yeah, but it's
The whole
the
top of it.
whole top fell into the bottom
Yeah.
of it.
And of course, the battery.
Yeah. Other than that, that's about it. These clamps on the hoses, they break all the time. They rust off and break in half, then your hose is just
Yeah.
by luck still hanging there. So you got to keep an eye on them, for sure.
So this is a smaller
This
radiator. Everybody points out.
This is a small radiator because I got the stock rear end in it.
Okay.
If I got the track pack rear end, or whatever, it would have had the big radiator in it. A lot of people will argue about that, but the judges all told me that. The fan belt is the original. It was made by Gates, and it's right on there. That's the way it came, right there like that.
Radiator hoses, right? Upper and lower radiator
They're
hoses.
still the
Or
original one.
hoses.
Yes.
This is minus 30 on there.
Yeah. And this tag here, sometimes it's out here in the center, or it was on that side sometimes, and this one just came over there. You never knew too much what he's putting in.
Okay.
Okay, if there's any questions about these screws all the way around here, is like they were black, but see they're getting a little bit rusty looking. But this screw right here is a galvanized screw, and it came like that from the factory, and a lot of judges will tell you that screw's supposed to be like that. Because I thought it was the wrong one, and I was thinking about changing it. He said, "No, you don't want to do that, because that's the first thing they look at, is that screw." I said, okay. Other than that,
Original voltage regulator.
yes, original one. Everything else underneath here is all original.
No power steering.
No power steering. If I known I was been showing the car, I probably would have had power steering, because it's a lot easier to turn. It's okay once the car's moving. But,
All this is original.
Yeah.
Why is that kind of
why is that kind of like that?
rusty there?
Well, you know all them trips from Georgia I told you I made? The fan blade blows these wee little black bugs up there, and I would have to scrape them off every time I came home from Georgia.
Oh, so it pitted the
Yeah,
so.
yeah, that's why. But they're wee little teeny black bugs, and the fan, that's the way the fan blew, and I put them all right there. So I had to clean them all the time.
So over here, one thing I remember happening here, these dark places on the paint here, and there's a couple on the fender out here. That when you were getting a car out in the late 90s, originally,
The
top of the battery blew off when
Blew
you hit
off
the
of it.
starter. There was acid all over.
Yeah,
It made these little bit dark kind of places
Yep.
on there.
for some reason.
Battery blew up
I don't know why it
before
blew
we
up,
got
but it
rinsed
did.
it off. Yeah, let's see here. There's a little piece missing.
Yeah.
That's been gone forever, huh?
Yep, just about. I put it up somewhere, but I can't find it now.
You have the little corner, but
Yeah.
not sure where.
I was going to glue it back on.
Yeah.
I can't find it.
Do you know if there were any other? There's a grease marking here. It says minus 30 on there. Were there any other?
There's grease markers all over the firewall,
There's a bunch on the firewall.
except dummy me cleaned them off.
Yeah. Well, why do you want a grease mark?
Well,
Grease pencil, I guess.
yeah, yeah. Well, I guess that's what it was. But yeah, there were some marks on the front.
Did you ever remember anything? Some people have something on the front of one or the other of the valve covers. You
Yep.
remember there being anything on
I
there
don't.
marked?
I don't remember anything being there.
Okay. So just basically this one, and there was some stuff on the firewall. You
Yeah.
remember that?
Yeah. Yep.
So battery caps. There's little vents in them. Little vent holes.
The new batteries you buy will only have one hole in the center. They won't have the other 4 around them.
So if they have a hole, there's one in the center.
Yeah. But the judges will get you on that if you don't have them 5 holes. Matter of fact, one judge will, that's the first thing he does under the hood is take the cap off.
Yeah, I don't know if you can pan in on this at all, but right there, as it says right there, it's a marking for gates, and then it has the name of the belt right on the top of it. It's kind of, it's hard to tell that right there, it's the gates.
I think Frank or someone told me I should take that off and put it up somewhere.
Well,
I'm afraid of losing it, but they don't get run much.
yeah, you might want to do that.
Well, I can buy a Gates belt. A lot of guys will have Mopar belt stuff on there. Even the hoses will have Mopar stuff on them.
Oh, so the, tell me about the starter. The starter is not original.
Right. In September of 1970, at that same filling station, the Cadillac hit the back of the car. The car wouldn't start. I stopped there to get gas. So they said the starter was bad. So I had a judge look at it in Columbus, and he said, that's a 69 starter. I said, well, I can tell you about the starter. In September of 70, the starter went bad, and the garage could only, he said, well, probably 69 is all they had on the shelves.
Okay.
Because that was in September of 70, and they wasn't stocked up on 70 stuff.
All right.
But they didn't take off anything for that, because that's just that goes under wear and tear stuff.
Okay. Oh, and then the other interesting thing about this is it has the aluminum
Elderbrock
intake
manifold.
and you can see right here. If that was cast iron, that obviously wouldn't be there, but that's since it was built in '69, it has that aluminum.
Yeah, because Elderbrock, they had them on. And they probably had extra ones sitting around, and they just got rid of them, so they just put them on the engine.
Okay.
I would imagine. But that's why that's there.
All right, so we're going to take a look at a few maintenance and tuning items here. And so if the car sets for a while, right, it's kind of hard to start.
Right, you have to grind on it a lot.
All right, so we're going to look at the way to prevent that. Or how to get it started without
Cranking on it for 10 minutes, yeah. This is the quick way of doing it. Okay, take this off and you put it someplace.
There you go. I'll hold that for you.
Okay, there's 2 ways you can go about doing this. You got to pick this piece up here. But it also goes into the valve cover right there. But I never take that off because it's really hard to put off and back on because the rubber fits real tight on that. So here's what I do. I pick up this part and just move your hand. Spin it around. Put it right there like that. Okay. Now these Holley carburetors have got accelerator pumps on them. And what happens is the pump, well, it don't leak off, but it evaporates. The gas evaporates on it. So where's that bottle? Where's my bottle at? Down here. Okay. I got this plastic bottle, and this tube here goes clear to the bottom. As you can see, I'll put rocket fuel on it. Okay, what you do, you take this little tube, and this here is the breather tube for the carburetor. You flip that up, and you take this, and you shoot about 5, 6, 7, 8 pumps in there. You just squeeze the ball and it goes right in. You don't want to put too much in there because it has a tendency to flood it or it'll run out. Then you let go of that, and I put a little squirt on this barrel, a little squirt on this barrel, and put that all back together, and in about the second roll it's running. This is the only way to start it when it's been sitting for a while, or you're going to grind it and grind it and grind it until it finally fires on its own. But this here, it'll only roll over about two rolls and it'll be running. So that's this old trick I learned from experience. I kept experimenting with it.
So the car runs on the center carburetor.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, these are vacuum operated. These other two. You can get going, if you're cruising down the road, you can cruise at 110 miles an hour, and them other two carburetors will still be closed. But then after that, these try to open up, and it'll make a funny sound inside the car. And I know what it is it's breaking vacuum, so they'll open up. But all you gotta do is just kick it down, and it'll take off or let up on a little bit, and it'll quit doing that, and you'll still run on your center carburetor. Just a little trick I learned driving back and forth from Georgia. Fast. That's about it for underneath there. These Hollies have a tendency to drip. These gaskets get bad and they drip. And sometimes you have to replace them for just the bowl. But to replace that one, you got to take this carburetor off. And as well, the same thing back there. So if you take the center one off, you can get to them. They're just a pain. So I use, it's called Holly made a blue gasket material, which won't shrink after you get it tightened up. They're blue, almost like the car. You'll know them when you see them. But if you put the other gaskets on, which is fine, but they're only going to last about a year, and then it's going to start dripping. You'll come out and you'll smell gas, and there'll be gasoline all over the manifold and stuff. So after I put them on, you don't have that problem. Just from experience. What?
Show us about throttle linkage and so forth. Have you ever had to do anything with that?
Okay.
Adjusting anything? Any of that type of thing?
The car's got an automatic in it. My dad asked me one time, what happens when you hit the kick down on it for the automatic kick in, for the kick down? I said, I don't know, never done that. So we started looking on my sister's 70 Duster. It's got the same kind of linkage. This linkage was never adjusted for the kick down, but, and I know why, because whenever I adjusted it to match hers on the car on the 70 Duster, but if it's adjusted to work, what happens is it kicks down in the lower gear on the transmission, and all three of them carburetors is wide open. The car goes immediately sideways. And I brought it back, unscrewed it, and Dad says, what's wrong? I says, me driving this on a wet road at a kickdown, I said, it went sideways down to turn when I punched it. I said, that's on a dry road. I said, can you imagine what it's going to be like on a wet road with rain? I said, nah, I ain't doing that. So I put it right back where the factory had it, and it's been there ever since. But it's never, the kickdown's there, because if I want to shift into second gear, all I can do is just pull down the gear shift, and I'm already there. See this thing here, if you screw, I think that, there might be a bolt down there, there might be a nut down there on that too. I'm not really sure. Or this here will change your kickdown right here. See when it kicks down now, it won't even touch that. See there? So if you adjust this closer, it hits this right away, and as soon as it hits this right away, these other carburetors are vacuum operated, and they'll come right open. So
that's how it's always been, right, like that?
Just like this, I put it back exactly where it was before, and it's been like that ever since. And like I said, if you want to kick it down, you can just push the button in and pull in second gear.
Shift it down.
Yeah, you're ready to go. But that's why that is unadjusted, and that's the way it came, like that, because that's how I knew where to put it when I put it back. But if it wasn't for Dad asking me about it, because I never really thought about it, because I usually just pull it down if I was going to, like if I was following someone I was going to pass them, I just pull it down second gear, and then I'd go. And if you pull it down like that and you're going to pass somebody, you want to make sure you're in the other lane before you do that. Because when I first got this, I ran into somebody in the back. Because when I kicked it down, I was up his rear end like right now. I go, ooh, I ain't doing that. So I learned you pull out in the other lane, then you punch it, and it'll go safer that way. Just in case you want to know that. That's all there is to it. It's the original coil and everything. And a judge one time at Columbus looked at that and you couldn't see the numbers real good because it was kind of real light green, they fading. All you gotta do is take a water bottle and spray a little bit of water on this black thing here, and then the numbers will come right out. So if someone asks you that, that's what you gotta do. But that is still all, this is all still stock underneath. And this is the way the batteries come. This cable here is almost always painted orange, and it goes clear to the thing. What they did, they put it on the engine because it came on the engine, and they just painted it. Or they had this taped off, I think, and they painted everything because it's even clear to the firewall for ground. So that's always been like that. A lot of guys will have that, and they say, well, that ain't right. And I said, well, that was on the engine.
Dipstick handle is orange, dipstick tube is not.
Yeah,
that's the way that's supposed to be.
Yes, they striped. They tied the stick on the motor somewhere. I don't know how they did that, but the tube wasn't in the car until after it was done. Before they put the manifold on, they put the tube in. All it had was a plug down there in the bottom. But that's the way it came right there. A lot of judges told me I said, because I was thinking about, I wonder why they didn't paint that, but that's the reason why. But they put the dipstick on the motor somewhere and then it got painted. Don't ask me why.
All right, so how do you adjust the floats on these
Well, you
carburetors?
just loosen this screw up a little, loosen this jam nut that's underneath it a little bit, and this here screws up and down, which will adjust your float inside the carburetor. All three of them will have it. And then you take this screw out, and you just want the gas level just barely tricking out the hole or a little bit, and put that back in. That's all you. That's the only adjustments you got on.
All three of them are the same.
Yep. Yes.
And all three of them will have gas in when you're running.
Yeah.
And you want them all adjusted the same.
Yeah. You just gotta move that.
Okay.
That moves the float inside. You change those gaskets I was telling you about. You gotta take the fuel line off, and you gotta take these four screws out, and this bowl will come right out. Okay.
Anything else under there of
Just the float and
importance?
the needle. This is like a needle and seat, just like anything on it. No, that's about it. Okay. Then this back here adjusts your choke for like winter time, so it'll hold a fast idle or a slow idle. But see, and there's an adjustment on it down here. There's a screw on there somewhere, but I can't see it now. But that's how you do that. But that's the way it's been set ever since I started driving it.
Yeah, so this shows about the setting the points and changing them.
The points are easy to do. See these little high sides on this point thing here? You want to get so this point is sitting on that, and it'll open up like that a little bit, and then you set your gap and tighten this screw up, and just that screw right there. If you want to change them, you got to take this screw out and that screw out, and watch you don't drop nothing down inside. Condenser's the same way. It's easier if you got the distributor cap off or out where you can get to it. And if you unplug the wires, you got to make sure you put them back where they belong. That'll screw everything up. That's how you do that. It's supposed to be set at 17. You do this one, then you bump the engine around until you get this one up on one of the high sides and adjust it to 17. That's all you got to do to it. And when you get points, you want to get both points is exactly the same. So if you get a set of points, and he says, "Well, I don't have two points. Just get two regular points, and they're the same." Okay. Then you got to be really careful because sometimes you take this screw out. This cap thing is like a sleeve, like it slides down over that. It holds this spring in, plus it hooks these together to the condenser. So you want to make sure you don't drop something, because them screws there is hard to get out, and you don't want to lose one of them. That's all there is to it. That's the only adjustment. If it's sitting, if both of them sitting at 17, you're good to go.
How's that go back on?
Oh, this rotor cap, see, it's got like a little, oh, have a flat spot. Oh, it's got a flat spot on this side right here. See how this is flat right there? You just turn around there. It just sits on until it goes down. Like that. Okay? Sometimes this end out here gets burnt a little bit. So a lot of times, a lot of guys, if they were changing it, they change rotor cap points, plug points, and condenser and everything at one whack. You know, that's up to you guys here.
What's that little oil hole down there?
This here, there's like an oil lid right there. See it? That oil's the shaft for the distributor up here on top.
Do you ever oil that?
Yeah, every once in a while. Haven't done it for a while because I don't run it very much anymore. But that's it's just like take a squirt can and just put some drops of oil in it, and that's all you gotta do. It's nice to get that oil that's kind of like tacky. Some oils are tackier than others. A lot of times you have to take some of these wires off, so you want to make sure you mark them. What wire, what where. Okay?
Okay.
Okay. You sit down. Now this, it's like any rotor cap, or a distributor cap. It'll sit in a spot. Oh, man. Right there like that. You need to just shove up. Okay, to do the timing on these, it's really simple. You just put your little clip on your number one wire, which is this one over here on the driver's side. It's the first plug. And you just clip it right there. And then your timing light runs off of the battery. So all you do is put your hot and cold on. And then I got this, the white marks down there on the damper pulley is marked. It's supposed to be set at 5 thousandths. Or 5 degrees, not 5,000, 5 degrees. So to change that, you just let it idle, and you hold your light on there, and you watch your numbers, and you take this bolt just loose a little bit, just enough to make this move. And it's right there. And then you move it just in wee little bits at a time, and you'll see your lines starting to move on your timing. And you put it on 5 degrees. That's where it's supposed to be set at. It'll run on either of them just so it's kind of close, but sometimes it runs better set someplace else, but you'll figure that out. You ain't gonna race it no more anyways, like I did. That's all you really need to know of that. That's easy to do. And if you take your plug wires off, you want to make sure you put them back exactly where they go, or you'll have a big problem. See, you're marked left and right. I was right. See there? Left hands come off the normal way. Okay? And the right hands are the opposite way. But you always check this because you don't want to twist one of them off. I mean, you can replace them, ain't no big deal, but it's just, you got to do everything, then you got to take the rotor off, and it's a pain in the rear end for a stupid mistake. Okay? Okay, Isaac wants to hear a couple of hot rod stories, so I'm going to tell him at least 2 of them. One of them was north of South Carolina. I was pulling on an interstate, and these 2 tractor trailers that had high sides, they were two blue Kenworths. I started speeding up. I was going to get in between them. They was about 300 feet apart, and I thought, man, these guys are really, really moving. So they were doing 90 mile an hour. So I caught up to the back end of one and just stuck my car over in between the 2 trucks. Sat there for a while, made sure there wasn't nothing on the left side coming up through there. And I'm sitting there thinking, wow, they're running 90. There can't be too many state police too close. So I just turned my turn signal on, slid over to the left lane, sat there for about 2 or 3 seconds, and I went from 90 mile an hour to 130. And then they were out of sight. I'd love to have been in the cab of them trucks and see, because that's when the car was brand new. And a lot of people didn't know exactly what it was. And I enjoyed that. But I did slow back down, in case you was wondering. And then there's another story. My wife and I went to Gettysburg. It was on 70 or so. I forget what road we was on. It was a 4-lane. And we were running 70-mile-an-hour speed limit. And this guy in the Camaro and his girlfriend or wife or whatever pulled up alongside, so I speeded up 75. He speeded up. I speeded up a little bit more. He speeded up. So I told Norma, my wife, I says, look over at them people and wave at them. She goes, but Harry, I don't know these people. I says, I'm telling you, wave at them. So she waved at him, and in the meantime, my hood scoop came up out of the hood of on my car, and I could see the lady with the kid was pointing at the hood scoop. He looked at it, and then I just hammered the car then, and he was like out of sight in no time. So that was pretty enjoyable, the expression on her face when that hood scoop come up out of there. But it really doesn't make the car run any faster, but it's just the thought of seeing that come up there and they're still staring at it, and I'm leaving them. Because I probably ran up to about 100. And then I slowed back down. But I never did see that car no more, so I don't know if it got off somewhere or what. That's my two best stories. I got some other ones, but I don't want to scare everybody. That's it. Okay, I just usually pump the foot feed once or twice, maybe 3 times like that.